it is my weekly water cleaning. So I was going to show you how to properly do that. Hermit crabs do need fresh water and salt water. And these are the containers that our hermit crabs came in before we figured out that that was not the proper care for them. So I converted these into pools, and they do get down in there and swim. I have 6 purple pinchers and 1 Ecuadorian, and they all love to get into the water and swim. As you can see, that's why they have sand in them. I've had 2 recently come up, and when they come up, they like to get in the water and clean themselves off. So my waters are pretty dirty at the moment. If you have large pools, you do have to use a siphoning hose. Small pools, you can just pull them up and dump them. But these large style pools where your crabs can swim in them, they do need to be siphoned. So let me get my siphoning hose and I'll show you how I do it. So this is my siphoning hose, the style that I have. It has a little bulb. I've had the best results using one like this. And so what you will do is put the bulb on one end, then you have a hook for your hose on the other that goes into your pool. So I've hooked my siphoning hose. I like to start with my salt water first and then flush my hose out with my fresh water. So I have my thing down in there, and I have a hook, which is very convenient, especially when you're doing it by yourself. And then over here I have 2 buckets that I use, and so all you have to do is prime this, and then the water starts coming out. Okay, so now that I've got both my buckets full with my salt water and my fresh water, as you will see, there is still some water that the siphoning did not get. So what I like to do is take my little handy dandy turkey baster and stick it in the corner. And use it. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to continue to suck up any of the water that is left. And I do like to do the salt water first, and then I'll move to the fresh water. And then when I'm done, I'll give it a good wiping with a paper towel. No chemicals, anything like that. Just give it a good wiping with a towel. And then I'll come back and I'll show you how I mix my water for the hermit crab pools here. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, so to make the salt water, you're going to want to use instant ocean sea salt, and you're going to want to have prime, measuring cup. Now these bags are really big, so what I do is I put it in a Ziploc bag, and it tends to keep the moisture out. You will have a little bit of clumping, but it's nothing really to be concerned about. I tend to work around the clumps, and then when I only have the clumps left, then I'll go ahead and smash them down. So what you want to do is you want to have water jugs. This one, I have peeled some of the label off, so I know this one's my salt, and this one is my fresh. And so what you'll want to do is you'll just want to fill these jugs up with just plain tap water, and then I'll show you how to put in the chemicals. For the chemical part, as you can see, I have popped just a little hole instead of peeling off the sealant of this. And so what you'll want to do, this is for the fresh water, is you will just want to go 1 good drop in there. Now for your salt water, I like to start with some warm water because it needs it to dissolve the salt. So we'll do the same as the fresh water. Give it 1 good drop. And then you'll take half a cup to 1 gallon of water. So you just pour your salt down in here. Sorry, I only have 1 hand here, but I usually use 2 hands and kind of cup around while I'm pouring it in to help get all of the salt down in there. Then you can use just the cool water and just finish filling your jug up. So you already have your prime, which takes the chlorine out of your water, and then you have your instant ocean, which is going to make your salt water. And so whenever you get them full, you'll just put the caps back on them. If you have small pools, or if you have pools that take 1 gallon each, it doesn't matter. The water's still good. It can sit there for a while. I mean, even if you had really small pools and it took you a month to use all of the water, the chemicals that you put in it, they're still going to be fine. Actually, tap water loses its chlorine value as it sits in a jug anyway, so it'll absolutely be fine. It won't hurt your crabs in any way, and there's no reason to buy crab water from the pet stores. You can use your own tap water and make it into gallon jugs. It's a whole lot cheaper, and like I said, I've had my hermit crabs for 8 years, and they love the water that I mix. So 1 drop of prime per jug, then a half a cup of the instant ocean per gallon is how I like to mix it. And so we'll go fill up my pools. Okay, so we're back at my tank. So I had a little bit of water left over in my jugs before I mixed these, so we're just gonna pour it in here. You do want to make sure that you have a bubbler that works. It does help your water to stay good for 1 week. If you have smaller pools, you're going to need to change them maybe midweek instead of doing it once a week. That's an advantage to having larger pools. So this is my salt water. You want to be very careful when you pour this that none of it gets outside of the pool. And so you just want to fill them up. And that's all you have to do. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you learned what you needed to make crab water. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe.